Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I am glad you made it. You know, I got to thinking on a prior video about the U.S. Court of Appeals on Veterans Claims, and then I also touched slightly on the Board of Veterans Appeals, that this process of VA disability compensation is absolutely a legal process, and it must be treated that way. Everything that you allow the VA to gather or you submit to the VA. For those that don't know, I have a rooster. His name's Stan. He's in the background, hence the hat. And if you want to support the channel by purchasing something from the merch store thing, whatever the cool people are calling it, I created a little store with some things about Veterans Info Tap and Stan, the crazy rooster I have. There's a link somewhere. It's in the description for sure, and there's a link to the store if you'd like to support and wear some cool things. Anyway, so it's a legal process. You must treat it that way. Everything that you submit to the VA or allow the VA to gather on your behalf, right? You sign over approval to get all this documentation for you. Once they have it, that is evidence that's either for you or against you. It's important. Now, what's really, really important is understanding how to make sure that you submit everything appropriately. Now, before we jump into it, I do want to throw out a special thank you to Salvatore Latero 8236. Salvatore, thank you so much for the super comment, super chat. I really do appreciate your support very much. Thank you. All right, so evidence. When it comes to evidence, there's really two types. Okay, there's medical evidence and lay evidence are your primary types of evidence. Your lay evidence is going to be your personal statement. You get a statement from a buddy statement of somebody that knew you and could attest to their knowledge of you suffering from whatever condition. And that type of stuff is your lay evidence. Now, your medical evidence is, here's proof of my diagnosis. Here's the medication I'm taking that's prescribed to me. Let me go get a Nexus letter. Let me go get a DBQ, Disability Benefits Questionnaire. Okay. So I'm going to touch on the medical evidence side here real quick and tell you that there is a resource. I'm going to front load it with this and then I'm going to explain the why. American medical experts are board certified doctors that can do anything for you, from diagnosis to writing a professional, high-quality Nexus letter, to completing disability benefits questionnaires, to tying a secondary condition to a existing primary service-connected condition. So they are there to help you with your claim. Now, all that information's in the description and in the comments. You could reach out to them, free consultation. If you need help with your claim, and you cannot find a free accredited resource out there that's capable and competent, reach out to us, Evidence-Based VA Claims. We'll do a free email consultation. And then if we take on your case, we guarantee that we will increase your base rating. Whatever your raw rating is, we guarantee we will get you an increase somewhere. So with that information's in the description as well. Now, why do I suggest these two things? Why do I suggest American medical experts? Because even if your doctor says, sure, I'll write you a Nexus letter, sure, I'll complete the DBQ, both of those things are very common that people will need, okay? Number one. Number two, they start off on blank forms, right? Your Nexus letter is a blank piece of paper on a doctor's letterhead. Your DBQ, Disability Benefits Questionnaire, is a blank form. That's a VA form. Garbage in is garbage out and can actually hurt you and be very detrimental to your case. Remember, this is a legal case. Everything they get is now evidence for you or against you. You can go do it yourself. You don't have to use AME, right? If you need a Nexus letter, and I'll give you some examples on why you would need a Nexus letter, and I'll give you examples on why you would need a disability questionnaire. All right, so you could do it yourself with your doctor, and your doctor may say, yeah, I'll do it for you. Don't worry about it. Just leave the form at the front desk, or just leave the information at the front desk, and I'll get that for you. Okay, great. But does your doctor understand the legal process and what is required by the VA in the Nexus letter or in the DBQ. I'll tell you this, the VA is looking for very specific information. And oftentimes, at least as a former accredited veteran service officer running a team of accredited reps, highly involved at the state level, I will say that I have seen many, it's countless, DBQs completed by civilian, providers, where a veteran just walks in and says, "Hey, my doctor's been seeing me for this problem. Can you fill this form out for me?" Great, thank you. They come back and get it. "Hey, yeah, I got my DBQs all completed." It's garbage. I'm sorry. Everything in here doesn't matter. It's not highlighting what the VA is really looking for. And in fact, it's actually substandard and actually hurting you and creating an environment in which you're going to have an unfavorable decision. Why? Because the doctor didn't understand, or it wasn't articulated to them, that they need to now go into the VA's disability rating schedules and find your specific condition in those rating schedules to decipher what exactly the VA is looking for with regard to the criteria for each specific percentage. So it's not simply, I have this condition and now I'm rated this. No, it's I have this condition. Here's the multiple different ratings that I could be rated for, 10, 30, 50, 70, whatever the percentages are that correlate to that specific condition, and the requirements for each one of those ratings. Now, if your doctor doesn't spell it out specifically in the DBQ that you meet all the criteria for this specific rating, then that means he's not or she's not. And now you are being rated in a lower level. Why? Because it's often missed. The doctors don't take the time to go into the rating schedules, figure out where you're at. They don't understand that that's really what the VA is looking for. It doesn't matter that you say, my life is severely impacted and there's nothing that I can do that I used to do and I miss all these things. They don't care about that when it comes to specifically a migraine rating, right? They care what's required for each specific rating. Do you rate a 10, a 30, a 50? Here's 18 words that say you meet this rating, right? Are those 18 words in here? No, they're not. Okay, then you don't meet that rating. So you have to be specific. What is a disability questionnaire for? The disability questionnaire, or DBQ, is really the VA's tool to decipher what rating you should be. It's that simple. So if you're not putting that information in there, so the VA rater could look at it and go, okay, it's clearly this rating. If they're confused or it's not spelled out, guess what? Automatically you're going to get a C&P exam. And anyway, that it happens all the time anyway that you're going to have a C&P exam. But you'd much rather have a DBQ in place from your private provider that spells it out specifically to the exact where you should be rated, and then be able to go to your C&P exam super solid and be able to go through that and express the same signs, symptoms, durations that warrant that same rating. So all that information is really corroborating itself, right? Now, what is a Nexus letter for? A Nexus letter is not required, but sometimes it's needed, okay? A Nexus letter helps you to prove with evidence that your condition manifested or is a result of your time in service in some way. So it's the nexus. That is the piece that it is required. You need to prove the nexus, that link between the two, your time in service and your condition. So if you don't, for example, have a diagnosis during your time in service, well, you're probably going to need a nexus letter that's a medical professional saying that it is at least as likely as not that your condition manifested during your time in service, for whatever the rationale is. Now, if your doctor, again, doesn't understand exactly what the VA is looking for, it may actually create the opposite effect that you want. And when you don't supply the VA with the appropriate information, and now you have to undo that, that problem gets exacerbated, and now you're digging yourself out of a hole trying to fix the problems you created. This is why it is so important to work with a competent and credible organization. Ideally, you go find a free accredited resource. If you can't find that, reach out to us. We're happy to help. Free email consultation, and we will guarantee that you'll get an increase. And it's so important to provide relevant to the claims process medical evidence. If your doctor can't, won't, or doesn't, reach out to AME. Treat this like a $1 million deal or a multi-million-dollar deal, because it is. So an investment up front will result in your future dividends, right? With that, thanks for watching. I appreciate you very much. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.